What is going on, everybody? This is Luke Gargano, and today I'm going to be bringing to you my shoulders and arms workout. So today's first movement was a standing barbell overhead shoulder press. This is how I usually like to incorporate a big, heavy compound movement into my shoulders and arms day. First exercise, 4 sets of 8 to 10 reps here. A couple of key points that we want to keep in mind is we want to make sure that our feet are firmly planted into the ground. We don't want to be pressing on our tippy toes. That will end in a catastrophic accident. So we do not want to do that. Also, what we want to make sure is we want to control the eccentric portion of the movement just as much as the concentric. So on the concentric portion, meaning on the way up, we want to make sure that our biceps are in line with our ears, and on the way down, we want to stop right at 90 degrees. Now, the second movement of the day was a seated dumbbell press, shoulder press. Once again, this is our second compound movement of the day, incorporating full range of motion and incorporating all 3 heads of the shoulder. So the front head, the side head, and the rear delt. So what we want to make sure that we're doing here is we're controlling the eccentric just as much as the concentric. So on the way up, which is the concentric portion of the movement, we want to make sure that our biceps are in line with our ears, and on the way down, on a 2-second count, we want to make sure that we stop right when our elbows reach 90 degrees. That way there is not too much tension on the shoulder, and we're not going to input our elbows in a vulnerable position. We want to make sure that our glutes and our lower back are almost like they are duct taped and glued right to the back of the bench. And we're going to perform 4 sets of about 10 to 12 reps here. Now, for our third movement of the day and our last press, we're going to do one of my personal favorites, which is the Seated Arnold Press. So what we want to make sure here is, once again, we are always controlling the eccentric and the concentric portions of the movements. So on the way up, we're keeping our biceps in line with our ears, and on the way down, just when our elbows reach 90 degrees, we're going to stop for a brief moment while we twist our hands in, almost as if we are mimicking a close grip chest fly. So what do I mean by that is I want our elbows almost like to touch one another, but they're not. So that way we're getting full range of motion. We're keeping our constant tension on our upper chest as well as our front delts to ensure that we are properly executing this movement. This is a great mass builder as well as a great finisher for any kind of pressing exercise when it comes to shoulders. So I strongly recommend you guys incorporate this into your workouts. And again, we're going to do about 4 sets here of 8 to 10 reps, nice and controlled. You want to feel that burn, especially towards rep number 8 or 9. You know, if you feel like you need a spot, have it behind you, but I really want you guys to push yourselves when it comes to this last press. So we're going to slow this down one more time, and I'm actually going to explain this properly because I don't want you guys to get injured on this. So we want to make sure that to start off the movement, we're coming down. So we're here, we're pressing up, biceps are in line with the ears. We're coming down, holding for a brief second. Okay, I cannot stress enough how important holding it at the bottom is, just so that way you can mentally prepare for that twisting portion of the movement. I see a lot of people with either unbalanced shoulders or one shoulder stronger than the other, where they will not pause at the bottom and they'll go and twist and they'll throw their shoulder off a line. So what we want to do here, once again, is press, pause. We're going to twist our hands in, ensuring that the dumbbells do not touch, following that twisting portion of the movement. I cannot stress that enough. So again, press, come down, twist, don't make the dumbbells touch, reset, open back up, feel that upper chest opening up and all that tension on the lateral and the front delt. Okay, so now comes the fun stuff. Okay, so all the presses are done. Now it's time to have some fun. So we're gonna perform some isolation exercises right now. So first isolation exercise we're going to do is a alternating standing front raise with dumbbells. So what we want to do here is, once again, we want to make sure that we're squeezing our glutes. It is okay to have a little bit of a swing. I personally feel, looking back at this footage here, I could have done a lot better of bracing my core to ensure that I wasn't twisting. So I'm going to make sure that I'm doing that next time. So what we want to do here is, again, we're raising the front delt, raising that dumbbell right up to eye level and controlling it on the way down. So up, control on the way down. almost like on the way down on the eccentric portion of that movement, make sure that you almost try to think about flexing your triceps. That way we ensure that that arm is straight, coming down, and then reset and press back up. And raise. There we go. So there's constant tension on that front delt. This is the last finisher for the front delt. We're going to do 4 sets, about 10 to 12 reps right there. Now, personally, I feel like this part of the workout absolutely destroyed me. Like, this was worse than all of those presses and the front raises put together. This is literally going to blow up your lateral delt of your shoulder. So what we're doing here is we're doing a triset. So what we're going to do is you're going to pick a weight, like a heavy weight, moderately heavy, right? We want to make sure that we're still controlling it. So here I used about 30 pounds and I went for about 15 reps of a side lateral raise. So again, we want to squeeze our glutes. Okay, I did legs here. I did legs the other day. And my legs are kind of sore, but no excuse. I'm going to make sure that I am going to engage my glutes a little bit better next time. And we're going to be doing a front side lateral raise, pardon me, with, let's say, 30 pounds, okay? We're going to wait 10 seconds following that. Then what we're going to do is we're going to drop 5 pounds after. We're going to drop 5 pounds from those dumbbells. So I start off with 30 pounds, 15 reps. Now I'm going to do 25 pounds for 12 reps. Constant tension on that side delt. So if you're really looking to get that cap look at your shoulder, that we can fill in our shirts and we have that nice roundness and full shape to it, we want to make sure that we are properly and effectively engaging that side delt. Okay, so a triset where there's constant tension on that side delt is a great way to grow the side part of your shoulder. So again, once again, you see me there, I am literally dying. I am literally huffing and puffing, sweating. So we're going to drop 5 pounds one more time. So now we're going to go to 20 pounds and we're going to perform 12 reps. As a finisher, literally, your shoulders at this point should feel almost as if someone is literally cutting them off of you. That's how I felt. And we're going to perform 4 total rounds here of 15 reps, then 12 reps, and then 10 reps. Oh my goodness, I gotta wake up here because I'm serious when I tell you that set, those 4 sets literally will take the life out of you. Okay, so now we're going to move on to something that will not make the shoulders feel like they're blowing out of your shoulder cap. We're going to be moving on to a upright dumbbell row. So I love this movement here, especially because whenever we're incorporating a dumbbell, we're training our muscles unilaterally, which is ensuring that one side or one muscle is not bigger or stronger than the other. So we're doing an alternating upright row here with the dumbbell. Key points, squeezing your glutes, and we're making sure almost as if we're rowing the dumbbell right up to eye level, okay? Just so that we ensure that we're getting the full range of motion. This is a great trap builder. So really, if we want to get those really nice developed traps, this is a great exercise to perform. Once again, all the workouts that I ever do, I always perform 4 sets of no matter what exercise I'm trying to do. And here we're sticking with about 8 to 10 reps per arm. Okay, guys, just when we thought that those side lateral raises were over, we're going to do one of my personal favorites, which is a single arm cable side lateral raise. So whenever we're working with cables, I want us to ensure that in our mind we're constantly thinking that on the eccentric and the concentric portions of the movement there is constant tension on that side delt. So what I mean by that is when we're thinking about it, we can also ensure that we are having that mind muscle connection. So what I want us to do is for the shoulder that is being worked, we are raising that cable almost up to 180 degrees, almost as if we have a bottle of water in our hand and we are trying to pour that water bottle, all the water out of that bottle out at the top of the movement. Okay, while we are making sure that we're squeezing our glutes, that way we can almost have a little bit of oblique activation, and we are going to, with the arm that is not performing any kind of movement whatsoever, we're going to be holding on to the side of the cable, any kind of rod, anything to keep you upright and stationary and in place. So you can tell here, guys, that I am controlling the concentric portion, which it means on the way up when the muscle contracts, and on the way down when we are resetting for the following rep. So again, you don't see me twisting, you don't see me overarching my lower back, and you see that my legs are straight, minimal bend in them. What I mean by that is I'm not using my feet as using momentum to get the movement going. Okay, we want to make sure that all the stimulus is on the actual lateral side of the shoulder, the lateral head. And the only way that we're going to do that is, again, by ensuring that we're holding some kind of, the side of the cable, a metal rod, anything that's firmly planted into the ground, so that way we can just focus on the primary course of action, which basically is to blow that lateral head out of your shoulder. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to move on to some rear delts. So we're going to do one of my personal favorites here, which is a face pull. Okay, guys, so when I think about a face pull, I want you guys to think about ripping a piece of paper in half. Imagine you got a bad grade at school and you guys are just really upset. You studied your ass off and you just didn't do well, okay? So I want you to pretend like that rope is a sheet of paper, okay? And you're receiving that test and you're picking it up off your desk at school, and you're literally like, oh my goodness, I got a bad grade. So what I mean by that is, what we're going to do is we are going to take the rope and we're going to pull it to our face, making sure that the rope is apart and coming back down. Okay, guys, now we're going to finish off this shoulder workout with a little bit of shrugs. So we can do this in a variety of different ways. Personally, today what I decided to do is I decided to do them seated with dumbbells. So we're going to sit with our glutes on a bench, and what we're going to do is we're going to almost raise our shoulders up to our ears while looking downwards towards the floor. That way we're going to prevent any kind of neck impingement. So we're going to raise up, we're going to hold for about a partial second or two, and we're going to lower back down. Once again, here we're going to do about 4 sets of anywhere from 8 to 12 reps, depending on how fried your shoulders are at this point, guys. This is a great finisher. Oh, it is that time. It is my favorite time. It's some arm action time. Okay, so guys, now this is where the fun truly begins, but we want to make sure that we're doing this properly. So we are doing dumbbell skull crushers laying flat on a flat bench. Okay, so what I want us to think about is when we're lying down, we're slowly lowering the dumbbells, almost mimicking a 90-degree angle, where the dumbbells, we want to bring the dumbbells on the eccentric portion of the movement, either in line with our shoulders or almost as if they're going to touch the bench right in line with our ears, and we're going to raise them up. See how I don't lock out my elbows? I don't come all the way up for 2 reasons. One, I don't want constant tension on the elbows. I don't want an elbow impingement, but also I want constant tension on the triceps. This is a great mass builder for the triceps. So here I did 4 sets of approximately 8 to 12 reps. Just constant tension on that tricep just to kickstart the arm portion of this workout, guys. You're really going to love this one. Okay. So now we are moving on to our first bicep movement of the day, which was a alternating seated dumbbell curl. Now, with a little bit of a twist here. So, literally a little bit of a twist. So, unlike a regular dumbbell curl, what I'm doing here is almost mimicking a spider curl on the concentric portion of the movement. So, I'm coming up, I'm twisting my bicep, my hand, in, which means that I'm leading with my pinky, and once I contract the bicep, I'm almost coming down as if I'm doing a hammer curl. So you come up, you contract, you twist your arm, and you twist your hand, and you're going to come back down nice and slow and controlled here, guys. This is working on both heads of the bicep. So this is almost like a 50% regular traditional curl and 50% of a hammer curl. So this is really going to give you that fullness look of your bicep, which is very important if you guys want to fill in your shirts. and you guys just want that overall bicep development look, this is a great one to incorporate. Here I did about 4 sets of 8 to 10 reps once again. Just again, guys, you don't need to go heavy here. I used 30 pounds and I was really feeling it. I see a lot of people going very heavy whenever it comes to arm training. I would rather you guys pick a weight that you can control both on the concentric and the eccentric portion of the movement, as opposed to picking a weight where you're just flying all over the place. You're almost falling off the bench. Biceps and triceps, as well as any kind of muscle that you're training, requires mind-muscle connection. The only way that you can do that is to pick a weight that you can control. Okay, so following that, what I ended up doing was I moved on to my next bicep exercise, which was a traditional hammer curl here. So I did them seated today. You can do them standing or seated. I decided to go seated today. Whenever I do any kind of movement that's seated, I'll usually go 5 to 10 pounds less than what I would use if I was standing. So whenever we're standing, we have more stability. Obviously, we're driving from our feet, so we have more glute activation, and we can go a little bit heavier. But because we're seated, I want us to just focus on the contraction of the movement. So if you see here, I'm fully lengthening on the eccentric portion of the movement, following that contraction, my arms. So almost I'm curling up, performing a hammer curl, curling up. And then once my tricep flexes at the bottom, that's when I switch hands and switch arms and I perform the next rep of the movement. So ensuring that I'm getting full range of motion, guys. I can't stress that enough. When it comes to overall muscle development, no matter what you're looking to achieve, any kind of look, you want full range of motion. So here I performed 4 total sets of approximately 10 to 12 reps, once again on the concentric portion of the movement, coming up, holding it for a partial second on top, and then coming down where I flex the tricep at the bottom. Yeah, you see my face. I am not happy here. I am literally feeling it. I am not playing. Okay, guys, so we are almost done this workout. We are performing 21. So I decided to almost incorporate a slow footage here, just to give you a better idea of and an explanation and more time for me to actually explain what I'm doing here. So I'm performing what's called 21s when it comes to a tricep rope pushdown. I firmly believe any kind of pushdown movement that you're doing, I would pick a weight where you can perform anywhere from 15 to 21 reps. Reason being is we are focusing on building the tricep. Okay, so for those of you who do not know, the tricep is composed of 3 total heads. We have the medial head, the lateral head, and the long head of the triceps. Okay, so what we want to do is we want to focus here on the long head portion of the tricep. And the way that we're going to do that exactly is, before you even begin this movement, I want us to take almost a step back from the actual rope itself, so that way we have more range of motion as we're pushing that rope down. So if I was closer to the cable here, I wouldn't necessarily be focusing on the long head end of the tricep. So, but because I take a step back, I'm forced to lean forward, which activates automatically the long head portion of the tricep as I'm performing this tricep rope pushdown. So if you're really looking to put mass on your triceps, I strongly recommend you do this variation of a tricep rope pushdown. Again, we are going for 21 reps here, as close as you can for 21 reps. Now here, I'll be honest with you, I used about 30-ish pounds, 32 and a half, give or take. And on rep number 15, my triceps were fried. I could barely feel them anymore, but that's when you need to push through. I want you guys to try to overcome that physical, mental block of quote unquote, I am feeling the burn. When you feel the burn, that is exactly when that change is actually going to be happening, okay? So we want to make sure that we're feeling the burn here. We're coming all the way up on the eccentric portion of the movement, and then we are going to contract the tricep by tearing that piece of paper that I was talking about. So remember that test that you got bad on? you didn't do a good job on, that's that test right here, guys. So remember, we're ripping that piece of paper in half, and we are performing 4 sets here, about 21 reps. Now, for those of you who are not aware, the tricep, makes up 2/3 of your arm. So whenever it comes to any kind of arm training, I know myself personally, I love training biceps. I love training biceps because that's the first place of the arm that when I'm performing any kind of exercise, I see the pump, I feel the pump, I feel like I'm getting a good workout. But a lot of people, including myself up until, maybe about a year or two ago, neglected triceps. And I always wondered, why are my arms not filling in my shirts? Like, why is there a gap on the outer head of my arm? Back then, I knew it was my tricep, but I didn't know that the tricep was comprised of 2/3 of your arm, that your arm was comprised of 2/3 of your tricep, and as well that the tricep had 3 heads. So we want to ensure that whenever we're hitting our triceps, we want to make sure that we're hitting all 3 heads of the tricep, first of all. So incorporating any kind of tricep extension, tricep overhead extension. There are different kinds of variations. I will get into this in other videos to come, but here again we're just describing the tricep rope pushdown. But I want us to do 21 reps. I want us to execute those 21 reps as best as we can, so that way we are ensuring that we are properly getting enough stimulation in that tricep to grow. I cannot stress that enough, guys. But my character was developed through the years because, again, I made mistakes along the way where I prioritized biceps over triceps when I should have prioritized my triceps over my biceps. And I don't want you guys to make the same mistake. So make sure that whenever you're doing any kind of tricep movement, number 1, you're doing high reps whenever it comes to a push down variation. Number 2, you're getting full range of motion. And number 3, you're hitting your triceps optimally. Okay, so pretty sure this is our last exercise. No, I lied. Oh my God, yeah, I'm not funny. So what we're going to do here is I am performing a restricted curl. So I'm using both arms at the same time. So what I'm doing here is I'm putting my back up against the bench, almost on approximately a 45-degree angle. That way I can't use any kind of momentum whatsoever. So I'm coming up, I'm contracting the muscle, and I'm slowly and controlling that portion of the movement on the way down as well. You are literally going to feel your biceps about to explode here. So again, we want to have a variety of different exercises within our routine. That way we're not just having, standing bicep variations or seated bicep variations. If you see, I had, today, for example, I did all seated variations. But next time I go and hit biceps, I'm going to have standing variations. Stay in the books, a little bit of abs. Training everything about 2 to 3 times a week right now. On most weeks, twice. Higher volume on those 2 days, frequency. Yeah, guys, another beautiful day, another good workout. And just really staying focused in every single one of my workouts, just getting in the zone, putting my phone away, fully focused, engaged, feeling the muscle contraction, not lifting crazy weights. I'm not here trying to show off or anything. I just want to catch up to becoming the best version of myself, and the only way to do that is stick with what you know. Don't be comfortable, obviously. Push yourself, but not push yourself to the point where you're trying to show off and stuff like that. I'm not trying to compare myself to anybody. It's always you versus you. Stay in your lane. Be humble, because you never know who's watching, and there are a lot of people that you don't even know that look up to you. They look up to you in the gym, and it's so important for you to keep doing you. Know who you are, know what you want, because that way you are what you attract, and you will attract that positivity back. So yeah, guys, another workout, another day, another step forward, another step closer to catching up to the best version of myself. Enjoy. So with that being said, I hope everybody enjoyed the shoulders and arms workout. If you did, I would highly appreciate it if you would leave a like. If you have any other inquiries as to different things that you would like me to post, or different variations of exercise that you would like to see, or like if you want to see me perform a back day or whatnot, feel free to leave a comment down below. Follow my IG, Catch Up VII Inc. And I hope you guys stay safe out there with COVID, and I will talk to you soon.